Jacinda, you're accused of murdering your daughter, Maciela. What do you have to say about this? Any regrets about what you're accused of?
Tell us your side of the story, please.
Jacinda, what happened in that hotel room?
Jacinda, tell us what happened.
You miss your daughter?
Come to this.
Anything you would like to say? What happened inside that hotel room with your daughter?
Do you miss Maciela?
Jacinda, any reaction about what deputy said you did?
Jacinda, you're charged with murder. Anything to say?
You guys have to stay. That got caught on one of the bushes. Got left blind.
And what you tripping?
Yeah, no, you're good. Thank you.
Ask Casey for a case for the outside of that. Keith usually just hooks the box up to the side.
Okay, cool.
Verifico. Way too many people go down on these.
I was wondering, I was like, why am I not moving? This thing was hooked on the bush.
Then I ran into Zachy.
My bad.
No, you're okay. At first I thought it was me. I'm like, oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
I was caught on that bush.
That's okay.
That is unclear, period. Part, comma, so she left the door unlocked for him to come back in. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Once y'all are set up.
That deal right there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's fine. We'll wait till everybody's set up.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
Just put it here if you want, however you want to do it. That might work.
That work? I
Yes.
think that works.
Is everybody
I'm
back?
sure it's on. It is on.
Are we ready? And on January 10th, 2022, deputies responded to the Star Island Resort in reference to an attempted suicide. When deputies arrived, they discovered suspect Jacinda DeCaro and her 4-year-old daughter, Maicela DeCaro, unresponsive. Jacinda was transported to the hospital. However, Maicela, her daughter, the 4-year-old child, was pronounced deceased on the scene. After a thorough investigation, we have arrested the suspect for murder. The facts that support this charge of murder are the following. The doors were all locked from the inside when we attempted to make contact with all parties. Tylenol and liquid Benadryl were on the nightstand. The night of the murder, the suspect talked about suicide to several different people. She told an ex-boyfriend that she didn't want to live. She also FaceTimed another friend the same evening and talked about not wanting to be here. The medical examiner's results ruled a death an intentional poisoning. Based on the investigation and evidence obtained, an arrest warrant was issued for Jacinda for the premeditated murder of her 4-year-old daughter, Maicela. Jacinda will be booked in the Osceola County Corrections for premeditated murder with no bond. I want to thank the deputies and detectives from the Sheriff's Department who worked very hard on this case, the U.S. Marshals for assisting us in locating her, and the State Attorney's Office, in which we have been communicating with, and they're aware that the suspect has been charged with murder in this case. Now I'm going to say a couple of things in Spanish for our Spanish media. Is it here only? Okay, te voy a explicar en español. Enero 10, 2022, nosotros respondimos al Star Island Resort porque había un atento de suicidio. Cuando llegamos, los policías encontraron a la víctima Maisela de Caro, 4 años, y la mamá, la sospechosa, Jacinda de Carro, inconsciente. Las dos fueron transportadas al hospital, pero la niña de 4 años, Maisela, estaba muerta ya. Después de una investigación, la razón que la estamos cargando con asesino, las puertas estaban cerradas adentro del hotel, Tilenol y Benadryl había en el cuarto cantidades de esos medicamentos. Ella le había dicho al ex novio que no quería vivir. También hizo un FaceTime con una amiga que no quería vivir más. Y después, cuando los resultados de la toxicología llegó, encontraron y determinaron que esto fue un veneno intencional. Envenenaron a la niña intencionalmente. Eso fue la causa de muerte. Eso fue la evidencia que utilizamos para arrestar a la mamá por el asesino de su hija, Maisela. Y le damos las gracias a todos los detectives, a todos los oficiales que estaban trabajando en este caso, también a los US Marshals que nos ayudamos a arrestar y encontrar a ella, y también al State Attorney's Office, que están de acuerdo y saben que este caso, con los cargos de asesino, vienen donde ella.
Sheriff, can you talk to us the day that the little girl was found dead in the hotel room? And it was a very similar set of facts. What's been going on the last 2 months? Why has this arrest taken so long? And where has Jacinda been?
Well, remember, we're dealing with a murder, okay? There's no need to rush and arrest everybody unless all the facts of this case are put together. You know, our detectives worked really hard to make sure that we had all the facts that led to the circumstances to charge her with murder, and also we depended on the toxicology from the medical examiner's office that determined it was an intentional poisoning, and that's why we went ahead and issued the warrant and effected the arrest.
Where has Jacinda been, and how much of the medication had she given the little girl?
Well, those details I don't have. They're probably more detailed in the case packet. I don't have those details right now. And as to where she's been, she could have been various locations. However, when it was time to arrest her, they found her very quickly and effected the arrest.
So she
Sheriff
wasn't being
Jacinda?
arrested.
That I don't have the information.
Sheriff Jacinda, you saw us asking her a lot of questions today. You know, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Obviously, she was saying before that she was going to take her own life, but has she said why she decided to include her child in that?
Well, today we tried to question her, just to see what was her intentions or her mindset. She didn't want to talk, so we don't know what was going through her mind or what she felt or what she meant by doing what she did.
When you were questioning her, did she have emotion? Was she regretful?
She didn't say anything to us at all about the case.
Did she poison her daughter with the Tylenol and the Benadryl?
That's what based on the investigation, that's what we're determining happening in the room, and that's what we have from the state medical examiner's office, that the high quantities of Benadryl were there. The door was locked from the inside, so no one could have done that. It's one of those security features that had to be done from the inside. So
I know that you don't have, you know, maybe you don't know, but how kind of death would that have been for her?
well, I'm not a doctor or a nurse. You know, I do know that Benadryl and those type of things make you kind of sleepy. I'm not going to sit here and say if it was horrific or not. All I know is that there's a little girl who lost her life, and we're holding someone, in this case, her mother, responsible for the murder of her 4-year-old daughter.
Did she try to kill herself the same way?
That I don't have the answers to that, but she did attempt to take her own life.
Has her family been cooperative? Any mental health issues or past
We haven't gotten to the details of that because we don't want. Remember, if we start pushing everything on a mental health type issues, everybody would walk scot-free. Based on what we have, she had an opportunity to, if she wanted to take her own life, she could have. She didn't have to include this 4-year-old baby who hasn't even begun to live. So that's what we're determining this on. We'll let the state attorney's office and them determine what direction this case is going to go. But as for now, she's going to be charged with murder.
Does she have a criminal history in Osceola County?
I don't have the answers to that.
Sheriff, why was she here?
We had to fingerprint her and process her through our
in town. I mean, I don't. Was she out of town?
I think the original was she went to that resort to kind of get away and have some time for herself. I'm going to take one more question in Spanish.
When did she walk out of the hospital? ¿Cuándo salió ella del hospital? ¿No la estaban vigilando?
Ella no tenía cargos, ella se podía ir cuando ella quería, porque estábamos esperando los resultados de la toxicología para afectar un arresto, el apropiado cargo en este asesino en este caso. Una más porque me voy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, real fast. the rape.
Last one.
That was sick. This rape. The
Which
rape,
one?
Freddie LaFuente.
I could talk to you that one on the side if you want, because we're about to all get wet.
Oh, you
Yeah.
must have, okay.
Yeah, this. What I'm trying to do is I've got another appointment that I got to go to, and I'd love to answer all those other questions, but unfortunately we don't have a lot of time for that.
Sheriff, we
today.
also wanted to ask you about Wawa. How is the deputy that was referred
He's
to?
doing great.
What about the
He's a fighter, you know, and right now we're just going to keep the comments on that investigation tight-lipped until we actually have everything put together, because there is an internal investigation being conducted. We want to make sure that nothing jeopardizes this case to make sure it comes out the way it should be. Okay?
Stop raining, sir. Sir, please, can you just tell us how